Common problems in dance scenario. The first common problem that I hear is that there are no dynamics. Now, most of dance scenario is loud. We have fortes and fortissimos all over the place, but there are a couple spots where we have softer dynamics, like right here at measure 33, we have mezzo forte here, and well, it's also mezzo forte here in the low strings there, pizzicato. And it stays mezzo forte all the way until right here in 50, we have piano. We're only piano for 2 measures, but you'd be surprised at how many orchestras never get soft here, and it's just all loud all the time. 33 is easier to make sound softer because, pizzicato tends to be soft anyway, and with these long bows, you can get them to play quieter, but once they start bowing here, again, this arco section at 53, a lot of orchestras will start playing forte again here, and that's a problem because then there's no crescendo and it's not exciting and it's not fun, and then 61's got to be even louder, so if we're already maxed out on our volume here, well then 61's not going to be very good either. When your students are playing in the louder dynamics, make sure that they're playing into the string, especially on the fortissimo section. Right here in 68, we've got half notes here, but they're still fortissimo, so we really want them to play into the string. Get them to grip the string. If you need help with your students, get them to play louder, go to season 1, episode 1, and watch my video on long bows. And I have my students play 12 count down bows and 12 count up bows, fortissimo, as loud as they can, and make sure that they're bending that string, that they're gripping the string, and that they're changing the camber of their bow, and they're pushing down. That bow should flex in all parts of the bow. Even though these are 8th notes, we still need to grip the string. If we're just playing 8th notes and we're just kind of sawing and we're using our shoulder and sliding back and forth, that's not going to sound fortissimo, even on the E string. That's going to sound pretty gross, actually. The other issue that we have here at 33, other than just trying to play a softer dynamic, is that there tends to be a lot of rushing. We have long bows here, and if students aren't using full bows, they'll rush to compensate, and we have pizzicato, and pizzicato really likes to rush. When your students are playing pizzicato, make sure that they're using a real pizzicato technique, which means that they're grabbing the string, pulling it back, and letting it go. Okay, 3 steps: grab, pull, release. For every single note, they have to prepare it. I would have them come off the string. If they're rushing even more, then come off the string even more. And that's going to give them good tone as well if they're playing the correct technique. If they're still using the Suzuki Book 1 plucking thing where they anchor their thumb to the fingerboard and it looks like the hungry little caterpillar just eating away at the string, well then that's not going to produce good tone and it's going to rush. The next common problem is with intonation. A lot of groups will play this out of tune. There's a lot of half position stuff, and you got to get your students really comfortable with open patterns and really comfortable with half position to get those B flats. Now, the trick with half position is that the thumbs have to move back for all of the instruments, okay? For first and second violins, for violas, that thumb has to move back closer towards the pegs, and they change their whole hand shape. For cellos, their thumbs are going to move up also, so that their thumbs are going to be, like on the D string for instance, their thumbs are going to be where their E normally is instead of the F. Okay, so they need to move up this way, and same thing for basses. Okay, and basses are going to be using a lot of 1-4 instead of 1-2, so make sure they understand half position. I have a teaching companion for this piece available on teachingorchestra.com, and I always start with finger patterns, and I have one specifically for half position on the A string so that the basses know that they're supposed to go 1-4, and everybody should be moving their thumb, especially on these second finger notes for the cellos. That's where the second finger extension is occurring, and don't go on to the next note until everything is in tune, okay? Otherwise, you're just teaching them how to play out of tune. Play it through as slow as you absolutely have to block everybody in, and then maybe do it again slightly faster, slightly faster. Okay, how quickly can we lock into pitch? We get into dance scenario, and sometimes we've got a B flat that's an 8th note. Are they able to get into half position here? And if that's not confusing enough, now we have B naturals here, at 73, and we've got F sharps here, and we've got F sharps here, and F sharps here. We switch modes here. The next issue that I hear in dance scenario are with balance issues. And with balance issues, a lot of times when lower strings have the melody, I can't hear it as well as I need to. So do the students understand where they have melody and where they don't have melody? And, first violins and their egos, and it's a good thing they've got egos too, because they got to play a lot of notes here in dance scenario. But when the low strings have their melody, they need to back off. The other issue that the low strings tend to have when they're trying to play melody is they're playing over the fingerboard, okay? Watch your low strings, watch their bows. Are they playing over the fingerboard? Usually what happens with that is that they have stiff pinkies. The pinkies are really stiff, and they're not. And when their pinkies are stiff, well, that locks the wrist. They can't move the wrist as fluidly as they can. I mean, try it. Try straightening your pinky out as far as it goes, and then try to move your wrist. It's hard, right? Loosen it up, and it's much easier. So what happens is their pinkies are stiff. They can't move the wrist, and so when they're bowing, they're pushing the tip of the bow up as the pinky tightens, and then on every up bow they get closer and closer to the fingerboard, and then they're over the fingerboard. So you can say, hey, play in bowing lane 2, or play closer to the bridge, and then 2 measures later they're over the fingerboard again. Well, that's why, it's the pinky. Double stops can also create balance issues here, and I get it. If you're playing double stops, it's in the fiddle style, so it's appropriate to do so, but don't let it get out of hand. And if you can't solve those problems, maybe not do the double stops. I mean, what's more important, the fiddle style or being able to hear the melody? I think it's being able to hear the melody. I mean, it'd be great if you could do both. It'd be great if you could do both, but you got to prioritize if it's like the day before your concert or the day before a contest. And you definitely don't need to play quadruple stops, all right? This is not Bruck, this is not Haydn, okay? You definitely don't need to play quadruple stops. There's no reason to do that. Well, I hope you enjoyed my take on dance scenario. If you have any comments or questions, or if you have anything to contribute, please drop it down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you, and I hope to see you in the next video.